You'll be all right. Bud Dunn, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Hi,
can.
Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Sarah, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you, bro?
I'm crawling the walls.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
And you're ready to paint something too. I saw on the
I found the very last Bud Light.
Yes.
I was like, God, I'm talking to Bud Dunn, and I'm talking to Bud Dunn and Sara Dunn here. Bud is with Atlas Sales up in Michigan. Battle Creek, I think, is the city,
Yes,
right?
sir. You're the man.
And they are an Anheuser-Busch and craft distributor. And I was like, God, I hope I have a Budweiser product. And I was like, I know I bought some Bud Light. And but my son comes over, he's 19. So naturally, he's 20. He's 20 now. But yeah, it was tipped over the very back of the fridge. So
He probably couldn't find it. That's why it's still there.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
he gives up too easy, these young guys.
I know, right? They're not hungry like we were.
That's right.
Jeez. Well, thank you for joining me today, guys. And what I love about you guys is that I've listened to your podcast, Confident Couples.
You're too kind.
If you want to feel really bad about any relationships you've been in or historical, you got to watch this because you guys are so real with each other. And that's what I love about y'all's generation. My generation, we kept things inside. We didn't communicate. We just, whether it was money or dogs or children or education or usually money, we just kept it bottled up. And I really like, but before we get into that, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm very excited, as you can see.
Well, you're getting ahead of me too.
Yes,
Hang
I
on.
know. Sarah needs to open up.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Intermission.
Cheers to the beer industry. So first, let's talk business a little bit, Bud, before we get into that. So at Atlas, obviously, around the country, it's off-premise doing better, but on-premise is just dead, obviously. What do you see at your company, or what are you guys doing differently?
So far, we've been really fortunate. The market, we're not in a transient market, so we're not in, where you're coming in and out. We'll probably lose people to, travel more than we do gain people. And we're in like a rural area of the country too, Southwest Michigan. So, we're fortunate in that, and staying at home and drinking beer is probably something that lends itself to, a better sales trend than other markets like a Myrtle Beach or, San Antonio or somewhere that's got more of a transient population. So that's been lucky. Things that we've done is we have cut routes off the road from a delivery standpoint. We have not laid anybody off. The design here is that, we're on the smaller side of a distributor. So each incremental employee is really important to us. So to have what I've called a bench, in the warehouse and still working and doing stuff gives us more flexibility that if somebody were to get sick, if they needed to take time off to take care of a family member. We had one of our drivers gave birth to his, I believe, 7th child.
He gave birth?
Well, their family welcomed their 7th child into his family.
Does he know how children does he understand the mechanics?
He does understand the concept, yes.
So he's doing this willingly. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Different strokes, love it.
That's right. Yep. So, we had him on family leave this week as well. He'll be back next week. So, we wanted to maintain the flexibility for us in servicing our customers and servicing the accounts as well. Massive shift to the off-premise, huge for, like everybody else has seen. Week 12 was huge. I think a lot of people saw week 12 of this year was a big week. And then we've kind of seen, a reversion to the mean. We've kind of wiggled back and forth, right about in line with what we've done last year on a week-by-week basis. And that's how I've started to look at the business, period by period, week by week, and how are we doing compared to last year. So the last 3 weeks have been pretty standard compared to prior weeks. Today, we were fortunate enough to be welcomed with an extension of the executive order for stay at home and shelter in place in Michigan. Sarah is now finding this out
Till
for the first time
when?
until May 15th. So,
Wow.
yes. So
Wow.
we.
Live reaction.
Yes.
Wow, that's we're getting it live, folks.
Yep. Yep. So we're under basically the same orders. Our governor relaxed some of the recreational activities that Michiganders can do, but for the most part, your standard business practices are going to remain the same. We're going to provide masks. All employees or employers are required to provide masks now because masks are going to be required in enclosed public spaces. So we've got masks on the way for our team. We ordered them a while ago. They should be here next week, early next week.
Fine. Yeah.
Cool beer ones. I'll send you one when I get them in too.
Yeah. Well, I just it's my
Love it.
Yes.
cheddar bandana, and I'm actually dressed in all linen. I look like I'm going to run with the Bulls later.
Yes, I love it. Yes. So fortunately, we've kind of managed through it pretty well, and we've gotten pretty lucky. So we're really pleased. I can't give props to my team and all the work that they've been doing because they're kicking butts.
That's great. What about all the kegs out there? Have you started picking them up, or are you just going to leave them in place for the time being?
Right now, we've left them in place. The executive order doesn't allow us to pick up kegs. As part of the FAQ, it's just like, hey, man, like it's life-sustaining or life-saving activities, and that's not deemed one of those things that's life-saving or life-sustaining. So everything's just kind of stayed and frozen in time right now. We do have a bunch of our customers that have actually been doing to-go orders and have been selling growlers. So there is, our customers, and then our risk has been largely mitigated from the starting or for right now. Our internal inventory is okay until June. Then we start to see problems in the first part of June.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, let's talk about the quarantine. So me and my fiance have quarantined separately because
Yes.
I was traveling when this
Major bummer.
Major bummer. And, she's missing organs. She was in some car wreck. I don't know. Talk to her about it. But and she has a young daughter. So, and I'm dirty, and I have, like I said, I have 3 sons.
You look awfully clean in that white outfit today.
Yeah, that's
Crystal.
real.
Crystal.
You should see me from the bottom down. But yeah, so it's been a real bummer. We, thankfully we talk about every hour. So how has it been? Because y'all already spent some time together, but now you're spending a lot of time together. So how has that gone from a couple standpoint? Are you tired of each other? Or?
So we have this really nice office that Sara has. It's really her main office, but it's like an octagon. I mean, maybe it is an octagon, right? So it's an octagon room. It's got windows on 5 sides, and it's got 2 desks in it. Usually, like, I don't work from home a lot, but like weekend stuff or, late afternoon, if I peel out of the office early or if I want to work late into the night, I'll go and I'll hang out in there and I'll get work done. It took me 3 hours to get booted from that room, quarantined, and relocated to now I am in our dining room.
We're using Bud's office today for this phone call. But I tell you what, this was not going to go on for weeks with, this is me at my desk. And he goes, hey, look at this video. Hey, did you see this Instagram post?
Hey, can you come read this email? Hey, can you come do this? All the things that I do that I kind of manage through on my own. I'm not a very good writer as you are, Harry. So I'm really good speller. So, it's like, hey, can you help me out with all this stuff? And she's
hey, you're right there anyway. Why don't you just come help me? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do all the work I usually do when you're not here.
And then the phone calls and the Zoom meetings, and I'm loud, and
So, yeah,
these have been a lifesaver.
but not.
But I'm very loud when I talk on them.
I got the Bose.
There you go. Yep.
Awesome.
So
Fantastic.
noise canceling headphones are good for Bud when he is trying to focus, but when he's trying to focus while on a phone call, it cancels the noise of how loud his voice is. It carries for miles. And so I said, I can't do work when you're like, bro, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm not, I'm a big laugher, and we were on a happy hour Zoom call with our sales team last night, and one of the guys was getting tired, and we were like, our sales manager Tommy's like, "Why are you tired, Jared?" And he's like, "Oh, because I had a whole pizza before we got on the call."
I mean,
and then he follows it up with, well, like just one pizza, and he's like, "Well, yeah, one today." And Tom's like, "How many have you had this week?" He's like, "Well, 5 Little Caesars and 2 Papa John's."
Oh my gosh.
And this was Thursday.
You know,
I
think
said to Bud, I was like, how many pizzas would you have if you were a bachelor during quarantine?
At least that many.
At least that
At least
many.
that many.
Yes.
well, that's been my problem is I'm here with just my dog.
Yep.
Sometimes my son comes over, and when he does come over, he always brings a joint. So, so bored. Sometimes I'll just smoke with him. I'm not a big pot smoker, but I'm like, okay, I guess so. And then I eat a whole pizza. Then,
Well, if you don't, he doesn't want to accuse you of being a snitch with the police, right? I mean, you have.
right. I have to take us just to prove to him that I'm not a snitch. And then I'm surprised I haven't eaten the dog.
Poor
Everything.
poor Biscuit.
Poor Biscuit. Oh man, she's been my companion, and then we take a drive in the afternoon, just to drive. We just drive around. She loves to drive around, and then we go to the park and take a walk, and then that's our day. But I have to say, I probably is best that we quarantined apart for the reasons that y'all say. I'm loud and laughing, and on Zooms all day, talking on the phone, and it's she would, I think, be very irritated about that.
Yep.
So like, do y'all go out to get pickup, or who's cooking around here?
Oh, you're
Dunn.
Which means I'm picking up the phone, getting on the emails, getting on the internets, and ordering the takeout, baby.
So we both cook. Mine involves using a knife and a pan and some sort of heated device, and his involves using a telephone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got banned from ordering food this week. She said no more food.
Well, it was like the only thing that was bringing him joy was ordering some kind of takeout. So I would have this big plan for things I wanted to cook that I haven't had time to cook for a long time. And he'd be like, "I have a surprise arriving today." And I'm like, "I'm excited about this surprise, but it kind of messes up my plan." Oh, but then it was a Shake Shack at home, make your own burgers kit.
Oh, see that.
So that was forgiven. That was good.
That was a good move. That was solid quarantine.
I have a Shake Shack that was a building right when this happened, and I think they stopped construction. I'm like, God, I wish this damn thing would open. It's right a block.
Kidding.
It's a block away too.
No
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Beautiful. But
We've been doing takeout a lot. What else have we been doing? That was the other great food story too, is that I had taken a picture of our groceries. We did the Walmart pickup last week, and I had taken a picture of our groceries, and I texted my mom, and I said, "I have a snack problem." And she said, because we don't keep snacks in the house at all, but I had gotten 5 bags of chips and Oreos, and just like a giant snack fiasco. And then my mom texts back, she says, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I said, "I figured out the Walmart password."
So bad. We started like this daily unspoken 4 o'clock happy hour where we go and get
Snack time.
snacks.
Yep.
Like munchie. We found munchies. Do you know munchies? They're
No,
flavored. Oh my gosh. Munchies are like a combo of Sun Chips, Doritos, rolled gold pretzels, and Cheetos.
Doritos.
And Doritos.
Doritos.
And they all come in one bag. It's the most
oh, that sounds awesome.
thing in the world.
Yes.
So we go and we have some munchies in the kitchen for happy hour, and it's not a good habit.
Yep.
Well, Sarah, tell me, is there anything that you've found out about Bud during this sequester that maybe you didn't know before? That you've been married for how many years?
It'll be 9 this year.
Oh, so you've been married a long time, and you probably dated before that. Anything you've learned that's a little different than what you thought?
Anything you can
Yes.
speak publicly on?
Well, as far as Work Bud, what I've learned about Work Bud is he has 2 voices. So he has his bro voice, So this is for like anyone in the beer industry, his coworkers, and a phone call always starts with like, "Hey, bro, nada. What's up with you?" And like that's bro voice, and it doesn't involve any full sentences, and he sounds like a surfer. It's the most ridiculous thing. And then there's like Bud professional voice. Yep, I think we need to work on the activation of that program. And then there's a lot of acronyms. So I didn't know about.
Wait a minute. I can tell you this. I think I know what's going on here. The bro voice is for his employees and craft brewers, and the professional voice is for his Anheuser-Busch reps.
Especially with the acronyms, you know.
You're right.
We got CYA. We got CYA, the FTJ.
How are your KPIs doing this month, Bud? You know.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I interrupted you, but this is fascinating to me. Yeah.
That's the number one discovery about Bud. I already knew about his other habits, and those things just seem to kind of pile on each other. Like the things that were tiny annoyances are now like constant grating nails on a chalkboard. The sparkling water can collection is really quite a thing. There's always at least 4 of them on a surface in this house. But
it's better than an empty bottle of vodka. You know?
Yeah. I think we've done a good job of having some real candid discussions around a couple of things that we're having issues with. Like I know I got coached for like doing my fair share of dishwashing and emptying the dishwasher, which I was good with.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on there. I love that you use the verb coached. Because most people will say I got bitched at. But go ahead. See, these are lessons I need to learn as an older man that came from a different generation. I need to say thank you for coaching me, because my fiance is younger. She's in her early 30s, and so I need to learn these things. And I'm sure she would be delighted. She would be on this call actually, but our allergies are, everybody's dying here. My eyes are watering. With clouds of pollen just blowing in the air.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. So she's been coaching you about being a better man.
Yes, and I think we both use coaching on a regular basis because language is important to when you're communicating stuff with each other, and also language of how you're willing to accept things, you know. Yeah. And Sarah, you know, I coach Sarah too, in that, you know, how does one, you know, beautiful woman, you know, manufacture 6 cups every day? You know, mine's cans, hers is cups, and how the dishwasher is emptied because I've been coached to empty it, and now there's 5 cups sitting in the countertop in the kitchen, and it's, you know, 3 o'clock, and you've got one sitting here. So like, can we get those other 5 cups into the dishwasher, which I've so gracefully emptied?
I am just so thrilled by this whole conversation because
you're coming out.
Has never noticed before that I had any sort of dish habit. So I think that means he's really internalized the responsibility of the dishwasher. And he's like, I know I'm going to have to put those away if you keep leaving them out. So this is great.
Yep.
It sounds like that this sequester has brought you closer, and well, at least in communicating and learning some things about each other.
Yes, we have.
I have found that I just use one dish a day, and that is the Hydro Flask.
Yes.
Oh, a branded Hydro Flask.
Yeah, I'll send you one. I'll send you 2. But yeah, it starts the day with tea. I'm a big iced tea drinker. And then, you know, at about 3 or 4 o'clock, it switches to, it'll get like that down to there and tea. And I pour about that much vodka and then some ice on the top, and it turns to a vodka iced tea. It's delicious, and it's
perfect.
Good
That's
for you.
fabulous. And I thought you were drinking water over there, so it's a very nice.
Well, it is still tea. What is it? It's only 3:15. So I'll put vodka in this later. But
I think the other thing we've tried to do is try to keep it fun. So like one of the really early quarantine days that we had, you know, I had come out to the kitchen and it was in the morning, and Sarah was upset. And it's like, why are you upset? And she said, I don't know, I'm just mad. So, and you could tell like she's, visually mad. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to slowly back away from the kitchen. I'm going to keep square on her so I can keep my eyes on her and make sure that I don't get clipped from the side or anything.
Right.
And I just kind of backed away and I thought about what may or may not have happened in the morning. And we went about our day and we got through to lunchtime, and lunchtime rolled around. And this really smoking hot chick came into the lunchroom and she was really nice to me. And she's really cute, and we had a like good conversation. And I'm just hopeful that my wife doesn't find out about this woman that I'm hanging out with in the lunchroom, because
your annoying mean wife that you see in the morning.
Yep. They're just trying to have some fun around, that you can have a couple different, cycles in the day of, how you may be feeling or what may be going on or what may be happening in your work day, and that you just kind of got to roll with it and have some fun with it.
That's funny you said that, but because like yesterday, I was just in a mood. Okay, I had a long day. It was a hard day. I had several tough interviews that I had to nail. One being with Jim Cook, important people.
Yep.
And I was also feeling lonely and self-pity. Let's call it that. I take a lot of pity in myself, even though I have a wonderful life. And I was just crabby. And Millicent finally just said, I am choosing not to respond to to your bitter little texts and your, and then it's flip-flop today. Now, today she feels sick because of allergies. She's, tired, exhausted, all this. And I'm stepping back and saying, what can I do for you lately?
Yep.
Yeah, there's an ebb and flow in every good relationship is what I'm hearing. And one of the things that is hard about this is boredom. We all have jobs, we all have stuff to do, right? We got to get done. But then in between that stuff is, how do you fill your time? And do you guys do that together, or do you have separate TV shows you watch, or how do you manage that?
I think we both have a bad habit of filling extra time with more work. And I've had a lot going on because I do digital marketing. So a lot of my clients need to make communications right now. And so I think have experienced less boredom than a lot of people, because it's been busy, and because we just fill the time with doing more work. For me, I've actually found the bigger challenge is just the fact that every day feels the same.
Yeah.
And so I'm feeling a little more burnt out than I usually do. So I think something we're going to need to do soon is find something fun or different to do. Like, even if it's silly or simple, something that breaks up the monotony of every day feeling the same.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. Yeah. And I go ahead, Ari.
No, you go ahead. I have a different question in a minute.
I think I kind of feel the same way, and we were talking early on, and you see the things on the Instagram about like, I'm going to learn to break bread, and I'm going to learn to do this, and I'm going to learn to do that, and I'll take a picture of how well our quarantine is going from the new stuff we're going to do, and I'll send it to you. Sara gets out a puzzle, and she dumps it on our table that's sitting right behind us, and so I'm going to do this puzzle, and that was 20 days ago.
At least. I was like, oh, so I'm hearing that puzzles are really popular while we're all sheltering at home, so I need to do a puzzle if that's what everyone's doing. And all I did was dump it, and I didn't even put any pieces
together. If there's two pieces stuck together, they were stuck together in the box.
Yeah. That's true. And for some reason, I can't let it go. I'm like, no.
It's still sitting there.
No, I'm going to have a quarantine hobby. I'm going to do this puzzle. Do not pick it up.
I just think puzzles are boring. My grandmother would sit there for hours and hours. That's all she did with puzzles. And and drink gin and watch soap operas all day. And I was like, I kind of was like, it's kind of not a bad, it's kind of a badass life actually. And
sounds very relaxing.
Yeah. So who lets the dog out in the morning?
We both do.
Whoever's closest to the
Yeah.
back door when she finally decides to wake up and come out of the bedroom.
She spent 12 hours in bed like 2 days ago. I mean, she's
That's awesome.
built for quarantine.
Oh, that's great. So, because
Yep.
my dog's old. She's I guess
How old?
she's 10 or 11. We're not real sure, but she's a lab. You've seen her, I guess, on it, or I don't know if you follow my Instagram, but that's all I have is my dog. So it's constant pictures of my dog. In fact, some distributor asked me, he's like, "Did you and Millicent break up?"
Oh.
Because I haven't posted a picture, nor she of me. So earlier this week, I was like, "Will you post a picture of me, and I'll post a picture of you, just so people know that we're still together?" Because it just looks like I'm an old cat man or an old dog. Me and my dog. It's kind of pathetic. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But she's old. She sleeps, I would say, 20 hours a day. She sleeps for 12 hours, and then she has a mid-morning nap, and then a late, early afternoon nap. And, she just constantly, it's great. And so I drive a Tesla Model X, and the seats in the back fold down. And so I threw a mattress, like a foam mattress back there with a sheet on it and a pillow. And that's why I just drive her around, and she just sits there like this and looks out.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That's so sweet.
It's our afternoon, getting out of this tiny apartment that I live in. And she loves it. And then we go to the park and walk, and that's it. She does her business, and she's a great companion.
Are you glad you have Biscuit right now?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would be. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. There's no way, because I talk to her like I've turned into this crazy old man. Talks to his dog and, "How you doing, old girl? What do you think of this show?" I'm just like crazy. Like if somebody were recording me, I should record myself and play it back 5 years from now and say, "This is the beginning of your dementia."
Just leave this camera on for the next few hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what Millicent did to prove that I snored. She went and she goes, "Look," you can see the spikes, on the recording. I'm like, she goes, "That's not me talking to myself at 3 a.m. That's you."
That's funny.
Like,
Oh, that's
yeah. Well, so what I've heard is that what I found is that young people like my sons and old people aren't following the rules. Like I said, my sons are in and out. They don't have any face mask. They're running around, and then my mother's like, I can't go to the country club and play golf. What's going on, I mean, how are y'all's parents dealing with this? Are they being good?
Well,
Y'all are Midwesterners, so you pretty much it's still cold there, kind of.
yeah, I mean, we're not real excited to go out and do a lot of outdoor activities right now. But my parents have done pretty well, I would say. They're not into the face mask thing. They're like, that feels over the top.
yeah.
Right. That's why I got my mother. I go, it's just wear a bandana around here, and then when you walk in the grocery store, just pull it up. It's not a big deal, Yeah, she can deal with it. I go, it'll cover your neck, which
it looks really stylish.
It does. I'm gonna listen. This is permanent. This is something. After this is all over, I'm still wearing the scarf.
I mean, there's so many uses for that. Like you get a little bit of mustard on the beard. You just kind of like give it a little pull. Yep.
I love it.
Everyone's got to have that.
Probably not good to clean your nose out with it.
No.
That's defeating the purpose. Your parents are doing okay.
They're doing okay. They're following most of the rules. So I'm not too worried about them. And, Bud's grandma, she's been following all the rules.
Yep.
So she's very much a rule follower about health, even though she's almost 90 years old.
Yep.
And didn't she run Atlas for many years?
She did. She's still a business partner as well.
Yeah.
So she's 80, just turned 89, I believe. We did that math right earlier to make sure. So grandma's doing well. She has, largely stayed at home. Her leases on her car next Friday. So I have secured her new rig, in which I will be working with the dealer on a clean transfer for that tomorrow, next week as well. So she is doing great.
She's
Oh
still
yeah.
driving herself, huh?
Oh yeah. Yep, for sure.
Well
Yep.
done.
Yep. We got her a new car 3 years ago, and she had one of those Lincoln Town cars, like the boat things.
Like one of the very last model years they made it. They don't make it anymore.
I love the Lincoln Town car. I wish they still made that car. I'm a big fan.
So she had that. Now her latest kind of challenge with the new vehicles is, they build them so you can't see the hood. They design them that way. And she's very frustrated that she can't see the hood. It's like, well, like the last hood that you drove, like car that had a hood like yours, Grandma, was like, it was 9 feet long. Like, it was a mile long.
Huge car.
Yep.
But I'm with her on that. Like because my car, you can't see the hood. And I like seeing the hood with remember the hood ornament?
The hood ornament. Oh yeah.
Cadillacs and the Lincolns had it was it helped you guide the car. Like you just I remember when you're learning to drive, there's don't stare at the hood, stare at the road. I stared at the hood. I like it. And listen, my grandfather, he drove till he was 90. He's dead now, but he had a banana yellow Lincoln Town car, just like that, the big boat. And he lived in Houston. He'd drive from his house to his country club, which is only like a mile away. And I remember the last time I saw him before he died, he was still driving. And I went and looked at his car had dents all over.
Yep.
Just, we call them whiskey dents, And he smoked cigars in the car, with the windows up. I was like, oh my God. And once he passed, everybody's like, well, who wants that car? I was like, nobody wants the car. It's just, years of cigar smoke and dents all over it. The one good thing about it is that radar detectors wouldn't detect it. It had so many, it was like a stealth bomber. It had so many.
No way.
Shoot off. Pew, 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 pew.
So, Bud would want that.
I would. I have a lead foot. So you'll love this. So we get Grandma this new car, and then she's like, we talk to the dealer about trading in or other, and they just give us all trade-ins are just crap deals. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to try to sell it. And she says, I had this guy about 4 years ago that came up to me in this, breakfast place that I go to, every day. And he gave me this note and he said, do you own this, Lincoln Town car? And she said, yes. He said, you tell me, my name's Merle and I want to buy it. And that was his name. I want to buy it. And at any point in time, if you want to sell it, I'll buy it from you. So 4 years later,
She kept the note.
She kept the note. 4 years later, she's getting a new car. I have the note. I have now the Lincoln Town car in my driveway. And I call him, and he's still alive. And he says, he said, hey, you might my grandma at the Lux Cafe. She said that you might be interested in buying the vehicle. I have this note that says you are. And he says, oh, yeah, I remember that. I want to come buy it. I want to come look at it. So he said, well, come on over. Give my address. He drives over. She is 86 at the time, and she's getting rid of her Lincoln Town car. And Merle is 84, and he shows up in your grandpa's Lincoln Town car, a late 90s model, banana yellow, like cream color looking to Lincoln Town car to buy with his girlfriend to buy another Lincoln Town car. And he says he loves it. He wants to buy it, but he's going to Boston for a couple weeks. And can I give you money to hold it? And I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, dude, if you waited 4 years to buy this car, I'll hold on to it for a couple weeks and I'll see you in a couple weeks. And if you still want it, I'll sell it to you then.
Oh, that's a great story.
He was so happy about it.
Yep. Comes over, pays cash, take the cash back to Grandma, and Grandma licks her thumb and she peels off a couple $100 bills and puts them back in my hand. She says, there's your cut.
That's awesome. But you know what? She got that deal. She didn't know you were saying. You're just a transaction. I mean,
exactly. Yep.
It's funny because those cars are great. You know what I love about those cars is the steering wheel. They were so proud, I guess, of power steering when it came out that they overdid it.
Yep.
I mean, you could go like this, and you had to do that just to turn. It was so easy to
Yep.
like the wheel. You could spin it, and the wheel would spin around if you want.
But it's
You know,
like,
now
you
my
gotta
car-
swerve.
Like you never like just turning around. You had to do this, and now you just do that. You know, so you're off the road. It is funny how they when a new technology comes in, they just overdo it. You know.
Yep.
That's great. Well, what else? What else what have you found out about Sarah? Let's be fair here.
Oh man, I found out about the cup thing for sure. The cup
Yeah.
thing was a challenge, but we worked through it. I also have found out, you know, how much like I'm allowed to get away with from like a junk food perspective is I'm kind of peeling back that onion a little bit, but I'm just finding my way in here and there. You know, we run a fairly clean house from a nutrition standpoint, and I'm getting it a little muddy right now.
It won't last forever. I asked him about the 5 bags of chips and the package of Oreos from Walmart last week, and he goes, "It's comfort
It's
food."
comfort food, yeah.
And he gave me the saddest eyes in the world, and I'm like, "Well, comfort yourself for one more week, but we can't have 6 bags of chips for 2 people a week."
Listen, Sarah, most of the weight is in that beard. Look at that thing.
I
I'm so
know.
jealous.
Quarantined.
I mean, I need to get prenatal vitamins. I've heard. My beard is just so scraggly, and I wish I could grow a beard like that. You must have testosterone, just bleeds from it, right? Right?
Don't encourage.
No, I am.
It's really quite the topic of conversation now. So one of the things I hear pretty often when he's on Zoom calls is, you know, I can't hear the other end of the conversation because he's got the big headphones in, but he'll say, "Oh yeah, yep, this is my quarantine beard. No cut till cure."
No cut till cure, and you know there'll never be a full cure.
There may not be.
It's a virus. There is a virus.
Well, that's, you know, I'm a beer distributor. I'm not particularly smart, so I don't know these things.
Yeah.
But we're not growing the beard forever.
No.
We're not growing the beard forever.
We're not growing the beard. Yeah. Well, my Millicent likes my beard because it covers up my, you know, giant neck, and but she has also made comments, even though we haven't seen each other. We FaceTime all the time, and we FaceTime like in the shot, we FaceTime, you know, we'll just set it up, and I'm brushing my teeth. We just, you know, like we're.
No, I want to go back to the FaceTime in the shower part.
Yeah, right. Bathtub is what I meant. But yeah, she's made a few little comments like, you know, maybe you should cut back just a little bit on the food, and you know, so, and I have. Luckily, last week I think I got food poisoning because I got really sick and was just throwing up. So that was a good 5 pounds right there.
There we go.
And so you know, sometimes when you get sick, you get started on a diet, and I was like, you know what, this is a good time to continue. So now I am 10 pounds lighter, but it's mostly water weight, I think.
Sweet tea weight.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. That's good. That's funny you say that, Sarah, as I switched from sweet tea to just regular tea.
Oh.
Why do I need that sugar? Why do I need it?
Do you miss
It sure does taste good.
Oh, it tastes way better.
I miss the sweet tea. So, all right. Well, how's the dog doing? What's your dog's name?
Jetta. She's doing good.
Jetta's doing amazing.
Yep.
We agreed that actually a stay-at-home order is her life's dream.
Yep.
The fact that for multiple weeks we didn't leave each other, and we were just all here. And
we're looking underneath the desk because she's sitting right underneath us.
What is Jetta gonna think when y'all go back to work? You know, she's like, "What the fuck just happened? Y'all just abandoned me."
Probably. I've been spending more and more time at the office lately. So, you know, I took like maybe a couple of weeks where I was going in a handful of days, and now I'm going in every day and getting more back into a normal rhythm. So, you know, it's kind of slowly peeling myself away from the girls. Sarah's begrudging about that. Jetta's probably like, you know, good. I get a little bit more freedom and flexibility around the house without you losers, without dad loser being here. So I think she's probably welcoming it, but she isn't. She's just kind of doing her thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm the only one that goes to the office. I go once a week just to collect the checks, and make the deposit. So I've been taking Biscuit, and 2 weeks ago I took Biscuit up there, and we have a conference room, and I was like, I need to go down the hall to go to the bathroom. So I'm just going to lock her in the conference room so she doesn't stand, bark or whatever. And so I put her in the conference room, and I go to the bathroom. We office in an office building, shitty office building. So I come in the office. I fucking locked her in the conference room. I don't have a key. I don't.
No.
I call Jessica, our admin. I was like, do you have a key? Is there a key in it? She's like, no, I don't have a key. So I call the building supervisor. He comes in. He's like, we don't have a key. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, they've changed. And this door, you would think fucking Fort Knox was behind it. You would think, oh, you can break down an office door, right? Yeah. No, it has steel frame around it. The door is steel. We both, I was like, let me try first. And I was like, eh. And the guy, the supervisor's like twice my size. He's like, let me try. Stand back. He goes, whoosh, and it just doesn't even budge. And the dog, she's going, whoa, she's so sad. Oh, it was so sad. And so fine. So he goes, I'll be back. And I was like, all right. And I called Millicent. She goes, just call a locksmith. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm dialing a locksmith, and I'm on the phone with the locksmith, and I hear this. I'm like, what the fuck? And I go, and the supervisor's got a drill into the lock. The sparks flying everywhere.
Going everywhere.
And I was like, never mind, because I don't think a locksmith can do anything now, right?
Yep.
Hang up. And it takes about 30 minutes to drill through the lock. He breaks several bits, just finally gets through. Opens the door. She's like, I'm like, Biscuit! It was a reunion. Like this could be an after-school special show, like with music and fireworks and whatever. And then I got a picture with the service guy. He's sent it to his wife. I saved a dog today. And the funny thing is that our building doesn't allow dogs.
Oh no!
But, that's one of the few things good about this coronavirus is there's no rules anymore.
Yep.
I went to the pharmacy and they're like, your doctor hasn't approved this, and I was like, oh shit, and they're like, you know what? We'll just let it go.
Oh no!
Yep.
There's no laws. There's no rules. I mean, you see it, Bud, in the alcohol business. Everybody's selling beer out of their trunks of their cars in the back.
Yep.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, good. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate your time. This is great.
I've got a question for Harry before you end it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
So we talked about the reunion you had with Biscuit after, she was so stuck in the conference room and the heroin process of getting her back out. Have you thought about how you're going to reunite with Millicent?
Oh, that is a good question. I have not.
We should game plan this here. I mean, you have a couple experts on your hands. We should game plan this now.
You realize this is an important moment where your commitment will be tested and you will receive a grade.
Okay, so one thing I want to do is I want to be another 5 pounds lighter.
Okay.
So hopefully we also get extended into mid-May.
Oh no.
The other thing that I've ordered self-tanner on Amazon, so I want to be tan.
Oh my God.
All over my body.
Any tan lines that you're looking for?
No.
Okay.
I probably should groom a little bit. I have hair. Don't have hair on my head. I just have it all over the rest of my body.
It runs downhill, just like everything else.
I know, but I remember my brother was like, I don't think you're using Rogaine correctly. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I think you're spraying it. It goes over your head and onto your back.
Oh, oh no.
We're in a pool, a swimming pool. I was like, thanks, asshole. But Bud, you make a very good point. I do need to, make plans and make it romantic and have gifts and what have you. And yeah, I need
Prepare
to
a speech. You're a good writer.
Yes.
I've missed you every moment.
Maybe some
flowers.
notes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be truthful. I miss you every 5 moments. I miss you as much as I love easy cheese.
Yes.
Oh no.
Boom.
Sarah, get a good look at that.
There
This
we
is
go.
my last can.
I didn't know
And
that was
I'm not
me.
going to buy another one. No, I'm done with this. I'm done. The problem is the grocery stores are always so full that I go to the dollar store, and this is the only kind of stuff they sell there, to eat.
Can't survive on a shelf for 2 years. They don't have it.
Nope.
I know.
Gosh.
No, that's good, bud. Good advice, and shoot me some texts and give me some pointers. You too, Sarah.
I think you have some good ideas already.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, mainly the losing weight. I want to look good for her, and she's punched up her weight a little bit too. I'm not gonna lie.
Nope.
Okay, never mind. I'll edit that out.
That's the editing part. Control deleted.
The thing is that listen, you don't think I wouldn't climb on top? I am top on top. I don't care what she looks. She is beautiful, and she could gain 30 pounds, and I'd still think she's beautiful. Anyway, we'll edit that part out.
Good recovery.
That's probably a good idea.
No, I thought the recovery was good. Good.
Yeah, recovery. All right. Listen, y'all have a good weekend. I'm so glad. I love the podcast is Confident Couples. It's great advice. Honestly, it is. I'm not bullshitting. I wish I had y'all when I was in my 20s and 30s, because we just didn't. Being passive aggressive was our mode of communicating, and that was. I'm sure that you see it. Your parents, my parents, and my generation. Passive aggressive is not the way to run a relationship. It just isn't. Just be honest. Let's be honest with each other.
Well, we appreciate you liking, sharing your likes for, that's what fuels us to keep us going. So we appreciate you saying all the nice things.
You bet. All right, Bud, Sarah. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a
Cheers,
good
man.
weekend.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers to having a beer together.
You bet.